Welcome to Undiet Your Coaching Practice podcast. I'm Stephanie Dozier, clinical nutritionist, certified intuitive eating counselor, and creator of the Going to Beyond the Food method. And after a 25-year dieting career, I decided to say hell no to diet culture and undiet my life, which also included my coaching practice. I'm on a mission to help all coaches undiet not only their life, but their coaching business. If you want to throw down diet culture, you're in the right place. Ready, sisters? Let's do this. Welcome back, my dear sisters, my colleagues. Today I have a treat for you. You're not going to hear a lot from me. Like 90% of the podcast for this one is other people talking. So we just finished a group session in Zoom with some of the practitioners that are part of our non-diet mentorship, and we answered questions that you, the audience, submitted. So I did a survey to our practitioner professional community, and people submitted questions. And I also did something a couple days ago on Instagram. So I pulled all those questions together, and the students, the other professional, will answer them for you. At the end, we do a full round of wins and what the practitioner are going to be doing with the Non-Diet Mentorship Program. So you have to remember that we are in the 5th month of this program. It's a 6-month program. So we still have 7 weeks to go, and all of them are out there with their program already. So they know exactly what they're doing, so they'll be able to chat to you about that. We're all about action driven and taking the right action here. You'll hear a lot of them talk about self-coaching, and I wanted to give a background here. It's so evident for us because we are in this mode of managing our minds in the Beyond the Food method. But for you out there who do not understand what self-coaching is, let me just give a little bit of background. So self-coaching is the mindset tool that I teach to my client, and that I teach to the practitioner in the non-diet program so that they can manage their own mind, and then they will teach it to their clients. So it's the mindset tool that we are globally using at Going Beyond the Food. Self-coaching is from the world of cognitive behavior therapy. Some of you may know it also as thought work, right? Self-coaching, thought work, the model. These are all terms out in the world. It's all the same thing. So it's using the cognitive behavior therapy model in a format that we don't need a therapist. So it's self-practice. It's you practicing it on yourself. And then that's what the girls will all refer to as self-coaching. It's a life-changing tool. And that to me is the number one reason why people in the non-diet program are fast-tracking through all these steps in their business, is because they're coaching themselves. I don't need to coach them. We teach them the structure, the framework. They practice it on themselves, and then they're using it through the entire mentorship program. And that's what makes them so successful in being able to cut through all the BS. I'm not going to use the other word because we may have little ears around. But that's the game-changing tool, and it's the game-changing tool for our clients, right? And I'm going to talk about me and my client business, my regular client business. When you look at all our program and all the testimonial we got, it's because of self-coaching. That's the game-changing tool in our business. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background on that. We have linked to all of the girls that were present on that session. All of their account will be linked in the show notes if you want to go and check them out. And I think that's it. So without any further ado, welcome into our Zoom call. So ladies, welcome to the podcast. Are you guys excited?
Woo! Yeah.
Good. I think the people listening are excited too. So you guys, we have, I think it's 12 questions that were submitted either by email or by Instagram story. So we're going to get started right away. And the first one is, it's for Lindsay. this will be the most I have invested in my business. And I recognize the fear that goes with that. But I also know that this is the guidance and direction I have been searching for, but I'm scared. What would you answer to that, Lindsay?
Yes. This question is meant for me because
I
this
know.
has been my question. I resonate with that 100% because this was the first time as well that I had invested this amount into my business and going with this concept for my business. So I had a lot of trepidation about what I was getting myself into, but also excitement as to what this could turn into. So what I would say to this person who's questioning this is that it is honestly the best investment in not only yourself, for myself in regards to my relationship with food and my body and all those skills that Stephanie helps teach and guide us, but also for the business, being able to narrow in on your focus and create using the non-diet approach that there's nowhere else out there that provides you the same format to not only build on yourself, but build your business in a way that is supportive. So it's an immense kudos to her because it really helped propel me in the direction that I wanted to go without really knowing what I was doing. I now am hugely confident.
So you focus on the future and the vision.
Exactly. Yeah.
To get yourself over the fear.
Yes.
Good answer. Number 2, I have been in the collection mode of information since I opened my business. Like, who's been there getting all the freebies from everyone? Like, right? Like, everybody's raising their hand. Yeah, like we collect stuff. And I really lack the application and efficiency of having a strategy for my session. Despite that, I still have success with my client moving away from dieting and improving their health. But I just consistently feeling like I'm reinventing the wheel and I have to remember what worked, what doesn't work. Will the mentorship program help me structure my method in working with my client? And that's going for Kim.
Yeah. I can tell you for sure that it will. I was in the exact same position before the mentorship that this person's talking about. I was coaching people just sort of one-offs, but I didn't have a program. And that was my goal in starting the mentorship, was to create a signature program because I needed direction, right? Like I was also getting, or my clients were getting results when they were working with me and their mindset was changing, and that was good. But I, as a coach, lacked the direction of this is where we're starting and this is where we're heading, and having that system of, you know, we're doing this many sessions, there's these topics, this is what we're going to cover, and this is the expected outcome or the desired result that you can hope to see. So, you know, doing the program and creating my own signature program, just, it gives you something to market and sell, and to just, you know, to show your clients that there's a direction and there's a place that you're headed and a desired outcome. So they know what they're getting when they sign on with you.
That's amazing. I was thinking as you guys are talking, like, would you have imagined 5 months ago you would have been able to like answer those questions?
No, I mean, I wouldn't have.
I'm looking at you and you could be giving this program in my space instead of me. Like, you're like so confident in answering the question. Like, I'm like so impressed by you guys. Okay. 4th question. You mentioned that the program will include all of your digital online program. How will this benefit me, Amber?
Well, having the program online is really like having your learning at your fingertips. It allows you to have the flexibility to access the programs, like 24-hour access to resources and the programs, like when it fits into your life. So it's greatly beneficial to have everything online at once.
And I know for you, it helped you create your own program, your own freebie as well, right? You're able to resource out what you had to create your own stuff.
Yes, I was.
And I think that's, for a lot of you, it gave you a base. That's what I see on how you're like sending me your stuff for feedback, or we look at your stuff. Like, the base is there. You have something to look to frame yourself instead of the empty space of nothing.
Right. It's even being,
go ahead,
I'm
Amber.
sorry, being busy with working, you have the time where you can set aside to dedicate to your learning because it's right there. No matter if you're up late or early mornings, everything is right there for you to have access to. So that's great.
Thank you, Amber.
You're welcome.
Now we're going to go over to Chanel. I feel like a fraud. 3 little dot. Who felt like a fraud like 5 or 6 months ago? Okay, you guys can't see the hands, but we have like more than 55% of people who said they felt like a fraud. I know I did. So I felt like a fraud. I can't launch my business until I'm perfectly eating intuitively and have a perfect body image. What do you answer to that question, Chanel?
All right. First off, I feel like there's no really such thing as ever feeling ready because when I first started out the program, I was like, oh, well, I'll never be like smart enough or be knowledgeable enough to be able to teach this stuff. But you, Stephanie, you have such a way of showing us and giving us the tool that we need in order to overcome those hurdles when it comes to trying to find perfectionism within the program. But even true, especially one of the big issues for me coming into this program was that I had so many programs and stuff that I had done under my belt, and I felt like it was still never enough. But the thing is that when you start with clients, even though if you feel like you're not perfect with intuitive eating or with your body image, you're still going to have so much information to give to your clients that they'll be like, oh my God, wow, this will change my life. Even because with intuitive eating and as anything else in life, it's always a learning process. So I feel like, there's no such thing as feeling like you're going to be completely ready. If it's something that you really want and you can see yourself doing, just dive deep into it, trust the process. And the fact that you're going to allow yourself to trust the process and that I feel it's going to make easier for your clients to relate to that, even if you're not perfect, that they're just going to appreciate that much more about yourself.
You've hit it on the nail. There's no such thing as perfection anywhere. Mm-hmm. Right? With food, with body image, and with our business. The next question I'm going to go to Unyime for. How do I use my communication to get more clients?
I think communication is a two-way street. So before I joined this program, I actually had done another business program, and there's a lot of focus on talking to your clients or potential clients. There's never the focus on just sitting and listening and being, conscious about what people are struggling with. And that's one of the things that I really liked about this program, because being able to go through some of the programs that you offer and seeing ourselves in our potential clients' shoes helped to shape my communication messaging and what I put out there. So obviously, we're trained, we know what we want to help our clients achieve, but sometimes it's hard for them to get there. So if you have whatever you need to put out there and you feel like, yes, I do know this, but then you don't give people the opportunity to give you the feedback and you don't take that feedback and figure out how can I be of service to other people, then it's really hard for people to come to you and it'll be really hard to get those clients that you're looking for. And one other thing I learned from just taking this program is being able to focus in on my zone of genius, because you want to learn everything and you want to do everything. And we do see this with our colleagues where it's like you have to show up here, show up there, show up there. But you're very good at helping us really focus on one or two areas where we're good at and then trying to bring that out and helping people see, okay, these are the ways that you can work with me and help me. And then just finally, I think it's always good to make sure that whoever comes into your community, you make them feel welcome. Mm-hmm. So that comes through in your communication as well. How do you approach people? Are you preaching to them or are you trying to invite them into a space that they feel welcome?
I call it yelling at people. Remember? There's so many people in the food freedom space that are just yelling at people constantly, right? And you wonder why things don't work, because yelling doesn't work for anything.
Exactly.
It's a two-way communication. Well, great answer. Okay. The next one is funny. I have a tendency to make things complicated. Who here has that symptom in their life? I'm raising my hand like very high, and like everybody in the room here is raising their hand. Okay. So this is something that we're all going to connect with. I have a tendency to make things complicated. How do I resist that? Lindsay.
Oh, I have this exact tendency. And honestly, at the beginning of the program, I personally didn't do very well in resisting it. It was in Stephanie's teaching that really had me take a step back and look at, okay, what is the goal? Like, one amazing part of your teachings and your programs is how goal focused you are. And as mentioned, how you bring out our zone of genius. And so instead of trying to do everything and do everything so perfectly, okay, let's focus in on the tasks at hand, work through those, and move on to the next thing, which, I mean, it got stuff done. And at the end of the day, the follow through is why I've accomplished so much in the short amount of time in working with you.
But I also want to say this. You guys are coaching yourself, right? Like you're shaking your head, but can I get some sound to put on the podcast?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
yeah, right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, all the time.
Right. So we learn self-coaching in the first month, and then it's using it after that makes the difference in your business, right? Because I think with people sitting on the other side of this podcast listening, most of them don't have a tool to like restructure their mindset or their way of thinking. So they buy into their thoughts. They're entertaining the thoughts that it needs to be complicated because they don't feel good enough, right? We want to make things super complicated so people will see value because we don't think we're valuable as is, right? If you didn't have self-coaching, would you have bought into the concept of complication? Go ahead, anybody. I see hand raises. Kim says yes. Right? Probably, right? So you coach yourself out of this. Give yourself some credit. Okay, next. If a client doesn't reach their goal, that's a good one. If a client doesn't reach their goal, what does this mean about me as a coach? Kim?
Yes, ironic. It has all to do with self-coaching.
I know.
Okay, so previous to this program, like 4 months ago, if someone didn't get results, I totally would have taken that personally as a coach. I would have thought that I failed them and I didn't give them enough support or help to get them the desired results. But this reason alone is probably the number one benefit in my mind of taking this mentorship, is that the first thing that you learn as a coach is self-coaching. And then it's the first thing that you teach to your clients. So the self-coaching model means that all of the results that we're having in our life are because of the actions that we're taking, and the actions that we take are because of the thoughts and feelings that we ourselves have, right? So when you teach that to your clients, they know right away that if they're not getting the results, it's because of the thoughts and feelings that they're having. And then my job as a coach is to help them process that, work through their own thoughts and their own feelings, and help them coach themselves to the desired result. But no, it doesn't mean anything about you as a coach. Everybody's coming into transformation from their own stage of readiness. So, if you're coming up with frustration because of your client's results, that's your own thought and feeling that you have to process. But then you get to support them in their thoughts and feelings too.
She's coaching you on self-coaching right now, if you don't see it. That's great. I think that's one of the things that stops people. Like, they will graduate from whatever thingy they're doing, certification. They'll go on working with people, and then, quote, people don't get, quote, the result, whatever the result is. And then coaches get stuck in paralysis because they think it's their problem, and then they don't move forward in their business. So working that your own mindset as a coach is what will power up your business to move forward, no matter which business you're in. Okay. Question number 10. How do I make money as a non-diet coach? So that has to be coming from someone who's currently in the diet culture model, which is a cool question. So if we don't sell meal plan and food of good and bad food lists and teach willpower, then how do we make money? Chanel, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. I feel like I'm the living and breathing example of that because I'm a woman of many passions. So I guess when it comes to being a non-diet coach or in the intuitive and body image realm, obviously there's the concept of doing like one-on-one work with the client, which is pretty traditional. So you can do the one-on-one, you can do group coachings, and you can also have just like small course that they can join and do at their own pace. But there's also much more than that. So if someone's more into wanting to just do more educational content instead of doing one-on-one work, you can go do presentation to the community. Me, myself, I've been doing cooking classes for I don't know how long, which I'll be transitioning into approach in the new year. So that's also something that can be done going into like workplace or like schools and stuff, and you can educate others on the non-diet approach. You can have products too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems like for someone that's new into intuitive eating, it can look like if it's pretty narrow or there's not a lot of option because it's new. But that's also the exciting part about it, because it's new. There can be so many options and so many things that can be done with it. So definitely a lot of different ways that you can make money as a non-diet coach.
And I'm going to throw part B of answering to Kim, because Kim is not like in the traditional model of nutritionist or health coach. She took that and made it something different for her.
Mm-hmm. And my main business is personal training, fitness. So, I mean, the fitness industry is pretty much owned by diet culture traditionally. So I wanted to offer something different. And this mentorship is fitted perfectly with that.
Yeah, it's about, and I'll answer the next question, which is about how do I find my ideal client? This is what we do in the first month that we work together, is find your niche and creating something where you're in your zone of genius. Somebody said that earlier, right? What is your zone of genius? What are you skilled to help people with? Where did you come from? And how do you want to use that into the world? And it does not have to be just one-on-one coaching on intuitive eating. It could be helping people with their exercise mindsets, right? I have someone, I haven't shared that with you, but somebody that's coming into the mentorship the next wave, she's a skin therapist, helping women with acne. Like, this is going to be totally different, right? She's going to take her skin therapy and put it through the non-diet model, because guess what she does right now? It's just restrictive diets and protocols and detox, right? For those who know the underlying condition of the skin. And she's just like, she's been through it herself, the ringer, for, I think she was telling me 8 or 10 years of restrictive diets and detoxes and protocol. She wants to find a new way of helping women with skin. And it all has to do with body acceptance and relationship to food and stress. Some people are clapping. You see? That's how we create your ideal client. That's how we create your niche. And there's so many different ways to think about it, in the same way where everything right now has the undertone of diet culture. Skin therapy, fitness, nutrition, cooking classes, right? I'm looking at who's in the room here. It's all co-opting diet culture. You can do all these things without co-opting diet culture. So the world is your oyster to what you want to do. You just want to do it without co-opting diet culture. That's very inspirational. Okay, the last question is going to go to everyone. I've received this one on Instagram. Yesterday, I put a Q&A box, and I've received this one that came in the most. We want to hear your wins. Wins personally, but wins in your business, or whatever the wins was, or haha moment that you have. So I'm going to start at the top of the screen. We have a multiple Zoom here. So I have Amber at the top. You want to get us started with your wins?
I would say one of my biggest wins is changing my mindset around food and body image, which in turn is also showing my closest friends, my kids, everybody around me is seeing just a change in attitude and just a lot of changes that comes with not being so restricted and always having to conform to being on a certain diet and structure. So I'd say it starts from me first and shining that light out into the community and helping the ones that are around me and seeing it firsthand.
Since it's going to be our last go around, do you mind guys sharing what you're going to do with this or what your business is about? So Amber, do you want to, as you close us, tell us what you're doing with the Non-Diet Mentorship for yourself?
Yes, so I am creating a business line that helps to empower Black women to dismantle the control that diet culture has had on our lives so that they can live fulfilled, full lives after this, and also getting them to understand like where it really all starts from the very beginning. Like I'm peeling back layers from the root cause of why we have been so oppressed and wanting to stay within diet culture. So helping out my community with that.
I'm getting the goosebump. She's in the niche by her own. Like this in 10 years from now, this is going to be so different. But right now you're one of the only person, like probably we can count them on our hands that do that. So we're excited to see that. Lindsay, your wins and what you're doing in your business now.
Yes. So my wins, I would say my biggest win is the self-coaching model and stopping the overcomplication that would lead me to paralysis. You mentioned that before, and that is exactly what I have a tendency to do. And so I was able and continuing to be able to work through those goals. The vision that I had is coming to light. I've been able to accomplish things in 4 months that I didn't think was possible because of being able to narrow down, filter through the fluff, and take action. And so what I am doing with the program is I am working with diabetics, type 1 diabetics right now in particular, helping them to find their food freedom and to move outside of the pressures and shame that often come in living with a chronic condition and having to feel as though you have to eat in a certain way and conform to certain rules and norms. So we are creating an all foods fit world for type 1s out there.
Groundbreaking program. There's nothing else like that for type 1 in the world right now. So groundbreaking. Awesome. Kim, over to you.
Well, I have many wins. I'll try to keep it brief. I think the biggest is self-coaching, both for myself and for my clients. Just having that tool, it changes everything. Beyond that, I've started a podcast. So that's a huge win. Yeah, we didn't even talk about that yet, but that's a big part of the program too, is launching your communication channel. So I know I get paralyzed with self-doubt, and I would never, ever have had the confidence to launch that without this program. So that's been amazing. And then my other big win is that I have created my signature program, or I'm creating it as I go. I guess it's not fully created yet, but I've had 5 women enroll in it, which the revenue from that covered the cost of the mentorship. So that was a huge win. So if you're worried about the cost of the mentorship, just know you can pay it off before you're even done. So what I'm creating is a body acceptance program that helps women heal their body image and their relationship to exercise so that they can exercise as a means of self-care and not as a way to control and shrink their bodies.
What's the name of your podcast?
The Joyful Movement Show.
Awesome. And Lindsay, you forgot to mention your podcast.
Yeah, I've just done so many things since being with you. So I recently launched one as well, the Intuitive Diabetic Podcast. So be sure to check that out.
Awesome. And I want to come back to Amber before we walk away. Did you decide on your YouTube channel? Amber is going to do a YouTube channel. Did you decide?
Amber Gage.
Perfect. So we can look her up. We'll have her on the podcast also, on my podcast too, when she's ready to launch her YouTube. Okay, cool. Down to the left, Chanel, your win and what you're doing with the mentorship program.
All right. So I feel there's 2 big wins that I can immediately think of. One, the self-coaching model that we learned was absolutely life-changing. I remember going into the program, procrastinating all the time because I was so afraid of not being good enough, and that thinking I wasn't knowledgeable enough. It wasn't for me. I was like, oh, well, there's no point in starting like in the first place. So with the whole self-coaching model, it absolutely like changed my views in terms of how I now launch my business and how I do everything. So absolutely, it was beautiful. Aside from that, one of the other big wins is that I had on my social media accounts over on Instagram and Facebook, I was doing it was really like a mess. I had a bunch of stuff on there, all my offerings, it was just clashing together anyway. And through your help, Stephanie, and like really like putting stuff together so that it makes more sense, when I finally started teaching about intuitive eating, specifically on one account, it had not even been like 4 weeks that I had started talking about intuitive eating, and then I actually finally launched my program. And I was thinking to myself, like, this is new. People are not going to get it. Nobody's going to be interested in like joining the program. And like not even like 2 days after like launching the information out there about my program, I had inquiries for like over 10 discovery calls. And then in the end, ultimately, I was able to sign 2 women into my program with like little information, like in terms of like, I didn't have a big social media platforms in terms of, intuitive eating stuff. So once you get past the fear of it not working out and you just throw yourself out there, like it was just super overwhelming, in a good way, all the women that were really ready to learn more about intuitive eating. So I know like for anyone that's debating in joining and switching their practice to going with the non-diet approach, like there's more than enough women ready out there and wants to learn more. That would have been my big wins in terms of what I'm doing. I'm going with more targeting the part of healthism. So I know Stephanie has talked about that on a few episodes on her podcast, but it's really about helping women who have food obsession, but also obsession around health and wellness. So how to stop obsessing and trying to find your perfect health and chasing all the wellness diets and stuff like that, and just being really able to come at peace and heal a relationship with food or body and health. So that's been kind of like my path with intuitive eating, but I find that this is where I'll be able to best help other women do the same. My program is currently closed for enrollment. We're in the first week, so you guys keep an eye out for next year.
That's it. I love that. She's pitching herself. You go, girl. And Chanel is a serial entrepreneur. How many business do you have?
I have, that would be my third one.
You've got cooking, you've got bars, you've got some kind of dinner thingy.
It's so many things.
Yes. But she had never been a coach.
Yep.
Until this.
Yep.
And you're launching a podcast as well, correct?
Yes. So that should be at the start of next month.
Perfect. Awesome. Unyime, your turn. You're going to close us off. Your win and what you're doing with this program.
Just like many people here, I think that self-coaching has been one of the biggest things that have been helpful for me, not just for myself as a business owner, because running a business scared the crap out of me. So I've been able to get my mindset in a better place. And like Kim said, realizing that when I'm working with my clients, it's not about me, not about them, and it's just about working through those mindsets and the emotions and how they control our actions. But on a personal level, I've been able to use that as well, even as a mom, because obviously I'm trained with Evelyn Tribole and Elise Rich in the IE certification. But what I found that this program added to me was the portion of being able to sustain those changes that come with intuitive eating. Because yes, you do get the basics and the groundwork with the intuitive eating certification, but this program actually just helps to take it up a little bit more And that's one thing that I feel I will be able to take into my program as I'm helping women. My program is the Thriving Mom Food Freedom for Busy Moms program. And our aim is just to help busy moms heal their relationship with food, but also help their children raise children who are confident eaters. And that being able to add the self-coaching model to the mom so they know it's not their responsibility. I do talk about Ellen Satter's division of responsibility, but I feel like the self-coaching model really will help the women to understand what their role is and how they can influence their children, whether in a positive or negative way, based on their own mindset. So that's a huge thing. And as well, I have a podcast that's coming out at the end of November. It's going to be called the Thriving Mom Podcast, and it'll be all about moms and body image and intuitive eating, and of course, the children, because we all know feeding kids, it's fun. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
And we forgot a question. Like you reminded me, I skipped over that question, but there was a question from someone who talked about intuitive eating, the training certification with Evelyn, which Unyime and me both have done. What is the difference between that and this program here?
I think it depends on the business model that someone's trying to do. So I do have training in dietetics, and what we're trained is focused a lot on medical nutrition therapy. So if again, we've already established here that a lot of the things that are going on are steeped in diet culture. And I find that with Evelyn's training, it's really good to help to give people that structure. And when you do the training, obviously she's there. If you have case studies, you can go through that with her. You learn with other dietitians. And yeah, that's helpful from that perspective. But what I find with this program, like I said, the self-coaching, but also this program is quite open. You don't have to be a nutritionist or a dietitian to be able to get it, to be able to use what you're learning to teach or coach your clients through. So if someone is more focused on medical nutrition therapy, I think the IE certification would help them, because then you're thinking from a clinical perspective. It's giving you that background information to be able to support your clients in that way. But if you're not thinking about going the clinical route, then this program, I feel it's all encompassing, and it will really help you because you do also touch on the intuitive eating basics. And yeah, just add the self-coaching model and go out and change the world.
That's amazing. And I think that's one of the things I say to everyone when I give your consultation or your interview, like we in this program here are not equipped to deal with people diagnosed with eating disorder. I make that clear from the beginning. This is not our realm. This is not our field. This is when we refer out, right? We refer out when people have a diagnosis. And I think that would be one of the big difference is that Evelyn addresses it a lot in the context of medical, clinical aspects and based on eating disorder, which are life-threatening, right? Mm-hmm. We coach differently. We coach for people that are not diagnosed with an eating disorder, for what I call the average unfortunate women that got hit in the back of the head by diet culture all of her life, right? So thank you for that, Unyime. Awesome. Thank you very much. We're going to link to all their profile, either their website or IG in the show notes. And it was fun doing this. Was it fun?
Yes. Yeah. For inviting us.
See, you could do that with a bunch of your clients. When you graduate your clients from your program, you bring them onto Zoom and then you record that and you put it on your podcast. Awesome. This is how I teach. Lead by example. Did you guys enjoy this as much as I did? I'm glowing. I'm a proud mama of seeing all these women out there rocking their business and doing it in a way that's going to change the world. It'll be a game changer for all of their clients and the next generation of women. I'm so proud of them. You're probably going to see this video also floating somewhere. So either way, I'm very excited for what we did for you today. I love you, and I will see you on the next podcast episode. And we have a guest, actually. We're going to have Stephanie Long on the podcast to talk about how to get started in a brand new business. You don't want to miss this. Ready to shed diet culture from your practice and help more clients do the same? Awesome. We've got free resources to get you started. Simply go to stephaniedodier.com/pro series, all in one word, and access our 3 free training classes that are currently available. We also have a free PDF guide to intuitive eating, an article about the non-diet approach. We also offer a variety of paid programs throughout the year to support you in your journey to undiet your coaching practice. Join us at stephaniedode.com/pro series, and I'll see you on the other side.